This is Matthew, author, artist, and commentator. I run luminousbeings.blog, where you can find all my articles, stories, drawings, and podcasts. Welcome to King of Hearts, Queen of Sorrows. 14. Oh, you mean my evil brother? This episode, I will be discussing G Gundam 14. Shocking, Shining Finger defeated. Here's the synopsis. The fight against the Dark Army takes a turn as Domun's friends have allied themselves with Kyoji and become even more powerful. So for our location, we're in Shinjuku again. We get some great establishing shots. The combatants, it turns out, are none other than the four Yahoos from the last time. It's George, Shibidi, Argo, and Saisaishi, but this time, for a twist, it turns out that Master Asia is actually the pilot of Master Gundam, which is the red and black Gundam with horns, and somehow, I don't know how, but somehow his HAL Gundam actually transforms into Master Gundam, and Domun tries to use his Shining Finger against him, but Master Asia uses Darkness Finger, and he tries to shatter Domun's arm and basically beat him into submission because he wants him to join him in serving Kyoji in the Dark Gundam, and he wants to take him to Kyoji in the Dark Gundam, and he actually, somehow he almost hypnotizes him. I don't know where this hypnotism, well, maybe it came from the Dark Gundam, because we uncover this really creepy thing with Rain that I'll get to later, but there's this kind of electrical pulse thingy that seems to be able to hypnotize people, and Domun almost falls for that, but Rain shakes him from that and wakes him up. Actually, combination of Rain and the others being in danger that wakes Domun up. As far as featured Gundam are concerned, I actually can expand beyond the villains this time, and because we're seeing the same guys over again, but we do get that cool transformation of HAL Gundam into Master Gundam, but we get introduced to 4 new characters, and it's cool because it's foreshadowed in the beginning of the episode, and then it's referenced, and the seeds are planted, and then it finally comes to fruition when we get to see the Shuffle Alliance. Master Asia, as the King of Hearts, used to be the leader of the Shuffle Alliance, and his old allies have come presumably from their space colonies to join the fight against him, and it's very interesting. They've got it's funny, they appear first in their Gundams the shape of a club on a card, heart, I guess, is it possible, a diamond, so there's like a ball, which is Black Joker, and there's the Queen of Spades, so I don't remember, there's a diamond, there's a club, I guess a J maybe for one of them, and then a ball. Anyway, if you're looking at the video version or at the show notes, you should be able to see these. So these are pretty cool designs. It's funny, if you really look at the characters and their Gundams, they have the exact same color layout, or not layout of color, but they use the same colors for their outfits as their Gundams have, which is kind of funny. But it's simple and it makes a lot of sense. It's very iconic. Rain doesn't get to use any gadgets this episode, but she does use a handgun to great effect. At first, she uses it to hammer the cells, or the tubes that all the support crews are trapped in. This is Chibidi and everyone else's support crews. And then a DG cell zombie comes and attacks her, and she shoots him 3 or 4 times before they all escape from there. All right, for my top moment for Domun, I had a hard time deciding what it was going to be, and it actually comes almost at the very end of the action. Domun is defeated. His arm is injured. He's holding it. The guy's barely, I don't know, I wouldn't say he's barely hanging on to consciousness, but he's in a really bad way, and the fighting has kind of stopped, and he comes out of his Gundam cockpit on his knees, his eyes full of tears, and he is pleading for peace between the Shuffle Alliance and Master Asia and his buds, the four guys who have joined Master Asia and Kyoji. And like a runner-up for this section for Domon was when he's fighting each of the four guys again in this episode, he reminds them of what all their goals are for being in the Gundam fight, because they're basically rejecting the Gundam fight. And if you recall, Domon is only in the Gundam fight as an excuse to get to Kyoji and the Dark Gundam and to save his family and to stop things. And really, he's using the participation in the Gundam fight as an excuse to be on Earth to do this for the government, and they're forcing him to. I can't remember if they actually want him to win the Gundam fight or not. I would assume they would, but it's obviously more important to their national security interest, etc., the fate of the universe, I guess, too, for him to defeat the Dark Gundam Kyoji, but he's got all these personal stakes in it. Whereas all the other guys really have nothing to do with the Dark Gundam, which I think is actually something to think about for the future going forward. It'll affect their arcs later, but they're getting pulled into it, obviously, by Master Asia, who tricked all of them, challenged them, probably as Master Asia in his HAL Gundam, and then defeated them and hypnotized them and got them to be involved with the Dark Gundam. And actually, I had originally remembered that they were infected with DG cells, but I don't think they were. I think they were just hypnotized by that same force that he was trying to use to hypnotize Domon. But anyway, it's really cool. Domon is defeated, and yet he kind of saves the day, and he does this very kingly thing. And the reason I'm referencing that is obviously because he's the King of Hearts, and the rest of the Shuffle Alliance is there, and they are there to back him, to support him. They make reference to the fact that Master Asia was their former master and how awful it is that he, a martial artist, is enjoying causing destruction and mayhem. And it's hinted at that he actually was the one who orchestrated everything, even the sacking of Shinjuku, for lack of a better turn of phrase. And he orchestrated it all to call Domon there to get him to join him, which is pretty interesting. But, like, I don't know, it's funny, in this moment of weakness or invulnerability and maybe just wanting it all to stop, Domon is very open about the fact that he just wants the fighting to end. And for some reason to me, that's pretty powerful and impactful. Anyway, it's my show, I get to set the rules, so there we go. As far as highlights are concerned, I really like the fact that Rain, she's on her motorcycle again, she whips out her gun, and she's, checking that she's ready to use it if she has to. There's that meme, get a man who can do both, or get a woman who can do both. And I keep thinking of that with Rain, because she's a doctor, and she heals people, and she's a mechanic, and she's all these things, all these beneficent good things, but also ladies, like, she's got this huge taser rifle she was using in like the second episode, and she's got this handgun that she pulls out from time to time, and she just does all this cool stuff. It's funny that she, Domon is the martial one, he's the martial artist, and he's the one who fights, and she's this doctor who heals and repairs and fixes the Gundam, but she will lay the smackdown when she has to, and that's a lot of fun. And I love the fact that she rescues everyone else's support crew and helps them out. Pretty neat. Oh, and then also, I love the fact that Master Asia's gambit becomes clear, and like he lords it over Domon, that because he's his master and Domon's his apprentice, that he knows everything that's going on in his mind. And there's this really awesome scene where I really like it, how they do this in G-Gundam in general, where they show the Gundams and then they like remove that image, and then superimposed over it or under it or whatever, they show the fighters themselves, and he's like holding Domon's hand, because their darkness and shining fingers are locked into each other, and he's like really bringing Domon down. And I just thought it was a really striking visual, and it shows the difference between them as master and apprentice, and like the level of their expertise and such, but also like the level of their maturity and the kind of I'm going to say the word level again, the level that they're both operating at. And I don't know, it was a really striking image, and it very much communicated well all these truths about the characters and the story they're living out, or playing out, I should say. Let me see. Yeah, I don't really have any highlights to share. Except I guess I thought it was really cool that it was almost like a zombie survival thing with Rain rescuing everybody from the DG-Cell people, or DG-Cell zombies, drones, whatever you want to call them. Let's see, lore. I mean, we get to see that apparently the DG-Cells can infect people and turn them into these like living skeleton warriors, and we get to see where that guy from the last episode who Master Asia destroyed, like where those people were made. And it's interesting to think that when Shinjuku was being destroyed, that it's very possible that Master Asia or maybe the Dark Army was going around and like gathering up. Well, I wonder who did it. Who gathered up those people and put them in those pods to convert them to DG-Cell drones? That's kind of scary to think about, and it's really sad to think about if that was Master Asia, especially with what we're going to learn about the function of the Shuffle Alliance that he was part of and once the leader of. So, but again, that'll be something we get into deeper in the next episode. I can't really think of a theme here. I mean, this was a lot of action. It was a lot of, I don't know, coming to terms with things. I guess maybe I touched on it by saying the theme could be something about how Domon, whose obligation is to focus on taking out the Dark Gundam, Kyoji, his brother, and like he is reminding his former allies that they have goals outside of that are focused on the Gundam fight, and it's not like he's trying to get back to it. So what would that be? How would you define that? I don't know. Honestly, I can't really think of a theme to really fit that into as a nice tight package. So I guess we'll have to skip that. Let me see. Lost in translation. There were no translation things that I picked up on in this episode either. So I guess I'll have to leave that alone. Yeah, I guess I'll have to leave that alone. Anyway, that's all for now. I will leave you with this note. Remember to get out there and grasp happiness. Thank you for your time and attention. I'd love to do more of this. Like, share, and subscribe to cheer me on, or give me feedback to make me stronger and smarter. Visit luminousbeings.blog for more. I link everything I do there, so if you want to comment, that's the place where I'll definitely see it.